The whole Travis Rudolph thing, all right? The whole Travis Rudolph thing. I kind of want to put a feather on this thing because I want to just completely be done with it. And the interesting thing about it is that we've become so perverse in society in which we've allowed for so many different things to happen to us that we're used to being on trial and held accountable in the court of public opinion before we ever even get our date in court. As a matter of fact, it's so bad that we're used to losing our careers, losing our finances, losing our families, losing our children, losing our reputation and our ability to be able to earn income, and losing as far as the visibility and the future opportunities that come along with us cultivating what it is that we've been doing our entire life. Think about Travis Rudolph, right? And that this man has trained his entire life, worked his entire life, has been at the top of his field as far as being an NFL player, the best of the best, because you don't get to that level without some level of hard work and all of that, right? And then it all almost completely came crashing down based off of what? A woman. A woman. A woman. Now, there's other people that's a part of this story that we're not even taking into consideration. What about the dudes that died? What about the guys that crashed out? What about the men that are no longer here because they crashed out over a chick that put a battery in their back, and I don't see any sympathy for them? Every single day, we see guys go to jail, die, get maimed, killed, lose everything, get set up. Every single day, we see guys lose at the highest levels. Travis Rudolph will never really be able to fully recover from this. Whatever it was that he had planned or whatever his life, the direction that it was going in, it's altered. It's like on a completely different timeline, like Cain came in. How many of y'all in your life that are watching this right now, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. How many of y'all right now then got finessed by a woman in your life? Honestly, let's just be real. How many of y'all have actually got finessed by a woman in your life? Because this is going to be an interesting show. We got Zion Williamson on the docket. We got Ja Morant on the docket. Tyrese, Vlad, Jamie Foxx, Candace Owens. It's a lot of things that we're going to have to go over because it all comes back down to the money. But how many of y'all have actually been finessed by a woman? Whether it was based off of the fact that you didn't know what you was getting into, or whether it was based off of the idea that you really loved her, or you believed in her, or you married her, or you had kids by her, or you was trying to protect her and then she put you in harm's way, or it might have even been your mother. When I say getting finessed by a woman, I'm not just talking about the women that you're talking to. I'm talking about any woman that's in your life. How many of y'all mother actually raised you to believe something that was actually not best for you? And then it wasn't until you came here and we started having an honest conversation that you had that aha moment. You know how you got that aha moment? And it's like, man, I don't like what Anton is saying, but he actually planted a seed in my mind that's forcing me to think a little bit differently about what it is that we're talking about right now. Your mother finessed you. Your mother might have even used you against your father because she felt vindictive or because you looked like him. She might have not even liked you. How many of y'all are son husbands? How many of y'all are son husbands? Meaning that your mother made all of the wrong decisions, and so now you are the one that she leans on for emotional support. You are a form of intimacy for her because she feels comfortable with you being around. You now have to make sure that you take care of her, which lowers your standard of living, in which she was supposed to be there to prop you up and give you what you need in order to be successful. And now for the next 30 to 40 years, you got to take care of her and put whatever it is that you had on the back burner because you're so busy making sure that she's emotionally together, financially taken care of, all of these things. You are in a relationship with your mother, even if you have a wife. How many of y'all are in this situation? Crashing out. Crashing out. Shout out to Mogul Minds. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat in a minute. So many of us have normalized, and this is why I say the culture is trash. So many of us normalize the idea that we are supposed to suffer and be in dysfunctional situations, even if it's not of our own doing, just because. Every day you make a bad decision. Every day you make a bad decision. You want to know how? Somebody convinced you that it was smarter for you to go and take care of somebody else's kids and become a stepfather. So now I look like the villain when I tell you, fam, it's not in your best interest to put yourself in harm's way by trying to be a steppappy to a dude that don't give a fuck about you, the son, the woman that's using you and then saying we a package deal if you want to come with us. Because if she love you, look, friends, let me tell you what people do when they love you. Love is a sense of duty. It's not a feeling. Love is if I have a friend and I see him going down the wrong path, I'm willing to lose our relationship and our friendship in order to tell him the truth to save his life. Because it's not about how I feel about him. It's about what's best for him. That's what friends do. That's why Jesus said he called us his friends and he laid down his life for us. Meaning that he was willing to sacrifice himself in order to ensure that we would have everlasting life or the opportunity for going to heaven. And to release the whole thing of being burdened with sin. That's what a friendship, that's why he said he calls us his friends. Friends make sacrifices even if it's at their own relationships or demise in order to ensure that you're successful. So let's bring this back to a relationship, right? Because if she loved you, if she truly loved you, then why would she put you in a position that she knows is going to be less than stellar for what it is that the trajectory of your life is going? Why would she put you in a position that's going to force you to be anything less than great? Crash out. And that's why I say you should marry your best friend first, because friends don't let friends fuck up the bag. Friends don't let friends put themselves in a difficult position. Friends don't let friends go out and do the worst thing for themselves. But you know why? Because she's not your friend, which is one of the reasons why she's a single baby mother today. Because she never gave a fuck about the dude that she left, so it made you think that you was better than him. The chick that was dealing with Travis Rudolph, allegedly, they never even knew that she was married or had another dude. And she over there holding him accountable, breaking his stuff, tearing up his PlayStation, throwing his phone, hitting him with Patron bottles, tearing up his car, and then bringing her brothers over there to crash out. For what? She ain't loved not one man that was in her life. Not the dude that she was married to, not the other dude that she was allegedly talking to, not her brothers that she got killed, not Travis Rudolph, and definitely not the prosecutor that was cross-examining her. So of all the different men that we can use as an example in this whole Travis Rudolph case, in order to illustrate how you are nothing but a number, when are you going to get the memo? Your mama taught you. The chick that was on trial that was trying to testify against Travis Rudolph, she taught you. Your ex-girlfriend taught you. I'm telling you. Your ex-wife is probably telling you. Your mother then completely abandoned you because she didn't give a fuck about your father, and so you the one that's going to have to pay for the sins of him. At what point are you going to wake the fuck up and say, yo, This is not ideal or conducive to the direction of my life, and I have to align myself with a better group of people. And it is, I get it. It's very difficult for you to break out from it because it's a cultural norm now. It's normalized within our society, our community, not just black people, but people in general. It's normalized amongst us that we have to accept and subject ourselves to the worst possible conditions in order for us to justify ourselves as a man. Since when? Since when? When did it become a man to suffer at the hands of somebody else just because I was born with a dick? When did that become manly? When did that make me any more of a man than to tell you, no, fuck you, let somebody else take that burden? Lord, let this passeth from my mouth. I prefer not to drink from this cuppeth. I don't understand. And I know it's going to be some people that get butthurt. Oh, man, but listen, I love them kids, and I treat them like a son. He's still not yours. He's still not yours. If they gave reparations today, they not going to go based off of who your stepfather was. You don't want to hear me. You don't want to hear me. When they start going based off of lineage, and they start tracing whether or not you are based off of how it is that they're trying to ask for reparations today, because I'm against reparations. I don't believe in handouts. I think you lost. You lost, you got conquered. Losers don't get to tell winners what to do. But that's a whole nother conversation. We can get into that later. But when they start tracing your lineage, they don't go based off of who your stepfather is, do they? When you do a DNA test, do they try to figure out who your stepfather was? Is it a way for us to trace your DNA based off of step lineage? I'm just honestly, I'm genuinely curious. Is there a way? Do your DNA get passed on from hugs and report cards? And how much money you then gave into the system in order to ensure that that little nigga is successful? And he's still trying to find out who his real father is, because it's almost like Avatar. We're just inherently connected to whatever it is our bloodline is. What benefit does it serve you to put yourself in harm's way for a person that don't give a fuck about you? They don't honor stepfathers. In no point in history, have I ever found stepfathers to be at the top of the totem pole in honors. They don't even have a stepfather's day. They just got a Father's Day. They got a Father's Day. You over there suffering, fighting for a little nigga that ain't even yours. That ain't your seed. It didn't come out of her body based off of you. It ain't one part of his DNA and molecule structure that actually makes you a better version of yourself that you should get accolades for. We need to completely divest ourselves from thinking that we're doing something noble when they don't like this part that I'm about to tell you. But we need to get into the show, so I need to move on, because you know me, I could just go on and cook. This is starting to become a Wednesday night. This is what they don't tell you. But I'm going to give you the truth. And I've been saying this for a long time now. And women, they jump in my comments and they say stuff like, Anton, you going to keep all of these men single? And then that may be best for them. I would rather you be single and happy when you find your wife, not a single baby mama, than suffering at the hands of a woman that don't care nothing about you. And this is how you do it. If I never told you anything else, if you didn't listen to anything else that I talked about in this live stream, now that we're getting started, listen to this. You have to be selfish. You don't want to hear me. You have to be selfish before you can be selfless. You have to look out for you first, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. The only thing that matters, especially for you young guys, all of you guys that's between the ages of 12, I'm going to go all the way back to 12 through 30, you have to be selfish. If it's not about you, it ain't about nothing. You have to take care of you first. You are the only thing that matters. I don't care what your mama said. I don't care what your daddy said. I don't care what your pastor said. You have to take care of you first. Prove yourself to you first. Invest in you first. Make sure you take care of you first. Get yourself together in yourself first. Focus on investing everything you have into you. It's not about her. It's not about them. It's not about none of them. It's all about you. Because the people that come into your life once you become great, they're largely going to be the ones that's the beneficiaries of your greatness. Focus on you, fam. Focus on you. Be selfish before you can be selfless.